you know what? It's pretty good. And this was less than $1,000. Are you doing many trips to Avalon, Brian?
It's starting to pick up now since AirAsia have started flying in from last November.
Have you flown AirAsia before as well?
I have not actually, so I'd love to try that one day. So it's just the two signs there, AirAsia and Jetstar. That's it.
And that's it. Oh, it's such a small airport compared to Tullamarine, isn't it? All right, thanks, Brian. Nice to see you again. Thank you, mate.
Pleasure. Have a lovely trip.
Morning, good. How are you going? Well, that was pretty painless. Check-in's done, but then now you need to go to a different terminal to get to the international departures. I know I like to get to the airport before everyone else and really early, but this is ridiculous. There's no one here. We've got the whole place to ourselves, look. So once you've checked your bags in, you've checked in, you leave that small terminal, walk through to a separate building, which is this one. This is the International Departures Terminal. You go through your standard security, customs clearance, but when I'm used to flying out of Melbourne and flying out of Tullamarine in Melbourne, flying out of here in Avalon, it's kind of, well, it's cute, right? In terms of food and beverage options here in the terminal just behind me, this is Third's Cafe. This is pretty much the only option to get some food down here. Once you're in the international terminal, there's no lounge or anything here. I've packed sandwiches, but I've got about 2 hours now before we need to board, so we may as well have a look. I'll just get a latte with 1 sugar, thanks. Just a small size, thanks. Day flight, right? It's about 10 to 12, like 11:50 in the morning. Everyone's gone to sleep and all the window shades are down. So not only is it really dark in here, but I can't see outside. Food service, you can decide to pre-book a meal when you're flying with the premium flatbed or the premium flex fare here on AirAsia. You get a choice when you're booking online of what meal you want. When you're on board, they'll ask you if you want your meal when it's ready or before the plane comes into land. So if you want to rest, that's quite good. You can sleep on the plane and then eat later, or you can eat and sleep, kind of up to you on what is an 8-hour flight today between Melbourne and Kuala Lumpur. But I've pre-booked, I think it's the vegetarian rice bowl that I'm having today. Thankfully though, my beautiful wife has packed some backup sandwiches, so just in case the rice bowl's a bit, well, airplane foodie, at least I've got a plan B. Lunch is done. Well, let's talk about the seat then. Let's talk flatbeds. Now, you've got a controller in the side of your seat, like you would have seen on many other airlines, where you've got 3 kind of preset positions. The upright takeoff and landing position, you've got this kind of middle reclined position, and then the flatbed setting itself. Should we test the flatbed? Okay, so I'm 6'2", which is like 184 centimetres, and that's pretty flat. It's not fully flat. Flat's not like, it's more like, it's also fairly private from the person next door. You can see there's this divider that you can slide across, so you get pretty good privacy from whoever's sitting next to you. I don't know who that is. They're very nice, but you've got some additional buttons here, so when you're lying down you don't have to reach forward to get to the controls. The one thing to note then is, so this is a 2-2-2 configuration. There's 2 rows of 6 here in the premium cabin. If you're travelling on your own and you want the window seat, you're going to need to basically climb over the person next to you if that person, like me, has got the seat in the fully flat configuration. So you can't walk around the front, you have to hop over someone. If you're travelling as a couple, no problem. I'd probably suggest get the 2 seats near the window. You can get the 2 in the middle if you both want the aisle, if you're both getting up, but I love a window seat. And to be honest, Jackie doesn't mind me clambering over her. I don't think she does. If you are travelling on your own though, I guess it's a case of, do you want the window seat and you're okay to climb over someone? Then window seat is probably the one. Otherwise, get the aisle seat, because then you don't need to climb over anyone else to get in and out of your seat. But then obviously someone needs to climb over you. Anyway, you get what I mean. Someone has to climb over someone else. You get given a pillow and a blanket as well. Actually, in economy, if you want a blanket, you have to hire them. You have to rent them for the flight, but if you've got the premium flex fare, you get given a blanket and a pillow, which everyone else except me is. Everyone's gone to sleep. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now you can get this seat for just under $1,000 when you're booking online. When I booked it, I think it was 1,100 Australian dollars for this seat. So it's about, say, $2,000 return between Australia and Malaysia to get a basically fully reclining flatbed, priority boarding, priority check-in, and you get a meal as well that you don't need to pay for. So you get quite a few additional benefits. Is this a better offering than Jetstar? Well, Jetstar at least goes from Melbourne Tullamarine. Air Asia X you have to take from Avalon, as you saw. But apart from that, I think in every other way so far, and this is miles better and it's cheaper.
To all Malaysians, welcome home, and to all visitors, welcome to Malaysia.
And welcome to Malaysia. I've never been here before. You see, a friend of mine, Andrew, who I'm actually meeting tonight in Singapore when I get there, has got this theory that you can't claim a country as visited if you just get to the airport, even though I've got a stamp in my passport. Until you actually leave the airport and have a meal, that's when you can actually declare that you've been to that country. So because we've got a few hours, it might be worth trying. Welcome to Malaysia. 1 flight done. Next flight isn't for a couple of hours, but I need to go to a different terminal, I think. So it turns out KLIA 2, where we came in, is not the same terminal as the one that we're going out from. So I'm in the wrong terminal. Hi, can I get a ticket to Terminal M? Platform B. Okay. First stop. Thank you. Alright, platform B. Has that been 28 minutes until the train? That might put my plans of leaving the airport into jeopardy. This is KLIA, the original Kuala Lumpar International Terminal, not KLIA 2, which is where we were. Anyway, you get the point. Terminal M. You may be wondering why I'm actually coming through Southeast Asia to get to America from Melbourne. Good question. So the reason is twofold. Number one is because I wanted to get that Air Asia flight. I wanted to check out that flatbed option flying from Melbourne to Southeast Asia, because you've got your normal business class options flying with Qantas, Singapore Airlines, you know, all the big carriers. Then you've got Jetstar, which I flew on a couple of months ago as well. But Air Asia X is a new offering, and you know, I just wanted to see what it was like, see what the price point was like. And the second reason is because tomorrow I'm hopping on a plane from Singapore, which is where I'm going to in a second. But once I get to Singapore tomorrow, I'm then going to jump on board that world's longest flight. That's the a flight from Singapore to Newark in New York City, run by Singapore Airlines, which I've never done before. And I just think the opportunity to fly the world's longest flight, plus spend a day in Singapore, I've got a good mate there who I can catch up with, and I just love hanging out in Singapore anyway, just was a bit of an excuse for like an extended trip. Yes, it's not very efficient. Yes, you can go from Melbourne to LA and then into Florida, and that's fine if you want to do it the efficient way, but just thought I'd have a bit of aviation fun. Talking of which, look at this view. Shot a really good sequence then, going into the gate, talking to someone, you know, the Singapore sign, all of that. Realised I had the lens cap on. Pro move. Good job, Steph. Well done. Who gave you a YouTube channel? Alright, jumping on board. Last flight for the day off to Singapore.